Hey everybody, and welcome back. We have Fernando with us tonight. Jeremy is away doing some fun stuff. So, what do you want to talk about tonight, mate? I know you've been keen. This is one that you wanted to talk about, so let us know.
Hey, yes. How's everybody doing? My name is Fernando, Strangers Minds, and today's topic we're gonna talk about the equipment being used during a paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
So, it's I actually, aside from all the topics that you guys talk about, my brain works solely on paranormal. So this one is pretty exciting for me, that's for sure.
Well, there we go. There we go. There's a lot of questions that you've actually got to ask yourself before you start looking at equipment, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about what kind of paranormal investigation you're wanting to do, and if you are wanting to capture footage for some sort of content creation, you need to target a lot of it towards which platform you're going towards. So, do you want to sort of start it out? I've just realised I've made the big mistake of putting all my gear behind me, so I'm going to be leaning back quite a bit instead of putting it in front of me where I can just pick it up. There you go. That's a
Oh,
bad sign. There's lesson number one. Make sure everything's handy.
oh yeah, that's for sure. I mean, as far as even sometimes when certain activity occurs, you need to be ready with grabbing certain equipment. So, a lot of the stuff that we use is basically, obviously we have our book bags. We have even like a army vest with a bunch of, for example, like an army vest. It has all the pockets that you need because it's a little bit a pain when there are certain things going on, and where's this, where's that, or even digging through your bag, or there are a lot of paranormal teams, and I'm sure that you guys have seen this on television where they have everything in the very nice expensive cases.
I have all the cases over
Uh,
there, so
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as hopefully one day I'll be, using all of this cool stuff because it is good to protect all of your things because a lot of these equipment, they're electronic, and they're kind of fragile,
yeah,
to
they
be
don't
honest
like
with you.
bumps and bangs.
Yeah. So as far as I've gone through a couple of voice recorders because sometimes you lend your equipment out to somebody, and if something, anything could happen, they drop it. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
there goes that voice
Yep.
recorder. So it's always important to have multiple pieces of voice recorders.
Voice
That's
recorders. There you go, right there.
ah,
More than
there
one.
you go.
And
More than one, of
what the,
course.
actually, there you go. And the first one, the first hint or bit of information I would give is when you're looking at a voice recorder, sometimes you got to spend a little bit more, but it's you have to go one up, don't you? Yeah, there you go. Make sure you've got one that does this, has a USB connector in there, so because there's nothing worse than having to try and get one of the old ones. I mean, I'm sure they're all USB now, but I had to used to put an auxiliary. I can't talk properly. Auxiliary. That's a hard word to say. An aux cable into the bottom and then into a recorder and then manually record across. So I said that's too much effort. So I got both of mine actually have USB slots in them, and you just plug it straight into your computer and transfer the file across, and you don't get any degradation to your audio file, and they're good for going through your EVPs nice and quick.
Yeah. That's actually a very good point because one of my very first, the sole survivor. I mean, because I've been this guy has been internationally with me everywhere.
Is that an Olympus?
and and yeah,
See,
yeah.
both of mine
And
are Olympus. Oh, I haven't got my manual. I'm in manual focus, so you can't see that. But Olympus is a good brand. Oh, I think we've lost Fernando. Oh,
So it's basically,
hang on, we lost you
you
for
know,
about 5 minutes. Then I've got the screenshot of you going like that. So I'll edit that bit out.
I don't know. I don't know. But yes, this one basically you cannot connect it to the computer or anything. The only way I could switch files would be basically having this, like if I catch anything, having it next to a
Yep.
recording. Yeah. So this one I used for real time EVP sessions. Basically, the difference between real time and regular EVP sessions is that you could, you ask a question, you have it connected to a earphone, you wait a couple of seconds, and then you review to see if there's
Mm.
anything on there.
There,
That's
there
as
is
far as just
there
recommend.
is actually one you can get, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, but it does exactly what you're talking about. It measures the audio going in, and then it will play back the last 10 seconds or 15 seconds so you can hear it. But while it's playing back, it is still recording in the background. So I have no idea how it works, because I would have thought it would be recording then the playback of the recording. But it doesn't do that. So it's interesting,
Yes.
but it was expensive when I looked at it, and I thought I'll just stick to the old traditional EVP recording session stuff.
Yeah. As far as money is concerned, for anybody who's trying to do this, as a hobby, because unfortunately, a lot of this stuff, even there's thousands, probably even millions of paranormal groups all over social media.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, we don't get paid to do any of this. All of this stuff was used, with money that I earned from my job. So, yeah, so you don't have to go beyond, above and beyond to get certain equipment. And
No,
as far as I'm concerned,
and that's one of the things I was going to say is at the end of the show, what we will do is we'll go through what we think would be the basics that you need to get to actually start going out there and doing this stuff. And I'm assuming everybody does it the same way I do, that you can't afford to buy everything all at once. So what you do is work out what's the most important thing you want first, and you buy that, and then you move on to your second one, and then your third one, and by the time you've got a bit of kit that you have to buy a decent bag for, you'll look back and you'll realise you've spent a few dollars. So we'll go through some of the stuff that we have here, and then we'll go through what we think is a good way to get started for anybody who's just starting out in the paranormal. Obviously, anybody who's been doing it for a while is already well down the way of buying gear and stuff like that. So after your voice recorder, what would you look at next?
my other go-to piece, as far as investigation is concerned, is an EMF reader. I actually have two
Hmm?
two EMF readers.
See, I casually did that. I turned around and I should have really moved everything, but I just can't be bothered doing it now. Yeah, I've got one of the oldest EMF meters, and
That
it work. It's cheap. It work. I've got a tri-field somewhere, but it's cheap, and you can see it in the dark. So when you're doing a lot of paranormal investigation, we do a lot of work in the dark. I know there'll be questions about that, but it works in the light as well. But this you can see without any kind of having to put a torch on it or anything like that. Quite often when we do an investigation, we'll actually leave these around the place. Now, to give you an indication of what I mean by using one of these, obviously if I push the button, turn it off and turn it back on again so you can see all the lights, there you go. There's all the lights going there. That happens when you turn it on. We actually, we did an investigation maybe 10, 12 years ago, and it was a haunted old railway house that had been converted into a residential place out in the middle of the sticks. And we had, I think it was about 10 of these set up, because they always talked about they did some renovations at the back end of the house, and then they had stuff at the front of the house. And they always talked about this spirit. They called it was like a shadow man. It was almost like a hat man, big coat, tall, big hat. So what we did was from their bedroom all the way down the hall, through the living areas, and through to the baby's bedroom. We set these up along probably a meter apart, a yard apart, in American talk. And when we noticed the first one started picking up, we just sort of stayed, and we actually had this on video. I don't know where it is now, the video, but you could actually see this entity going down the hall, because you'd see the first one light up and it would go down, then the next one light up and go down, then the next one, like, you could actually track where it was walking. And it would be a lot harder to see if you used like a tri-field meter or a digital meter, because you're just looking at numbers. But these things, they're a visual light up thing, they're easy to see. And I think for anybody who's just starting out, they're nice. You can get them for $30 or $40 off the internet. That's Australian dollars. It's probably cheaper in America. And they're a good way to start out. You can buy a couple of them, you know. I've got another one over there, and then my wife's got one, and we've got a few in the family. You know, we've got plenty just for ourselves, and just about everybody. I'll put that down as a definite for anybody in your kit, is to have an EMF meter of some sort, whether it be one like what Fernando's got, or whether it be a cheap K2 or a nice expensive tri-field meter, or anything in the middle. It would be a good way to get you going. That's one of the essentials on the kit. So back to you, buddy.
That's for sure. So aside another piece, this is pretty old school. I say old school because where did I put it?
I don't feel so bad. I know all my stuff's behind me. I just realised that I've actually got my laser measure here, which looks awfully like one of my voice recorders. So I'm glad I didn't pick that up at the same time and show everybody that, because they go, that's not a voice recorder.
So, you know, trying to catch evidence, we need our cameras.
Yep.
Photo cameras. Well, digital cameras, but I find that having a old school camera like a Polaroid camera, that is very interesting to use. Have you used a Polaroid camera out in the field?
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Mate,
told that
when I first started out, it was the old, remember the long skinny cameras, and you put your little film cartridge in with 24 or 36 exposures, and you had to go ka-ch.
oh my god.
I started out with one of them.
Oh man. Oh, I mean, you know, most of us have been in the field longer than others.
Hence the grey beard.
Oh man, and of course, obviously, it's always good to have more than one camera.
Yep. I
So,
have a camera very similar to that somewhere, but now again with cameras, you've got a whole spectrum of where you want to start. So I mean, everybody's got a camera with them all the time. You know, the old phone does a good job. You've always got it with you, and in a pinch, that'll do the job. But as Fernando has, a nice camera. I mean, I've got cameras all over. I'm actually recording on one of the cameras that I use, so I won't be changing that one. But I've got a full DSLR down there. But one of the things that I like, I like the photography, but I like the video work as well. So for me, I have this puppy underneath the microphone. Bang. Whoops. I have this puppy here, which is one of the old Sony cameras, and I know I'm going to regret doing this, but when it turns it on, when I show you that it records all night vision and everything, as well as records normal daytime stuff, full HD, and obviously these are infrared illuminated. You can get the exact same ones in white light, so you can use them as a torch. These are a definite must as well if you're going to be doing a lot of night shot or infrared recording. I definitely love doing infrared, which is another one for me. I mean, it's not essential, but anybody that watches a lot of the ghost hunting shows know they like to go going green and do all of that. and they are good because you can capture stuff. And I've maybe not what you're actually going out there to catch, but I've actually caught people faking stuff because they don't realise that I'm using a night vision camera. So while they're throwing a stone, go, oh, what was that? I go, it was you, you idiot. I got you on
Oh,
film, you know. So they are good. They are good, but obviously, if you're into the paranormal, you know that uh, we look well beyond just the visual light spectrum. So we're looking in the infrared and we're looking in the ultraviolet as well. So a full spectrum camera, that's another good one. You can pick them up
yes.
cheap enough now. In fact, if you go on eBay and places like that, a lot of the little action cameras, like little GoPros, they've retrofit some of them, taken out UV filters, taken out infrared filters, things like that, and you can use them. And then it's just a matter of buying your illuminators, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, they'll record in 4K, so it's a good quality little camera.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Actually, I didn't know that bit that on the GoPros they're fixing it up so it could be full spectrum.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they're retrofitting them. If you actually, God, I don't think I've got my GoPros in the room. I've got all sorts. I mean, I've got a 360 camera. I've got all sorts of cameras set up. But again, in a pinch, you can always start off with one of these, because with one of these, it takes
That's
two
for sure.
seconds to upload the whole thing. And again, where what you and I were talking about just before we actually started recording is when you go out and you start doing your ghost hunting adventures, are you doing them to put content up, or are you just doing it? A lot of the stuff that I do, you won't find anywhere on the internet because it's actual residential cases and things like that. So I use stuff that, I mean, I've got a lot more gear which is for proper location shoots and things like that, which you will see soon because we've got a good location locked in that we're going to be going to. But everything that I'll be showing you tonight is stuff that you can put in a little backpack and you can head to anywhere and you can use this stuff. So what I was getting at is, if you are going to be using it for content, think about the platform that you're going to be uploading to. So obviously with this little pup, if you're going to be recording to and putting stuff up to TikTok, which is the big thing at the moment, you record that way. If you're going to YouTube, you record that way. Obviously with GoPros, everything's set up as a landscape kind of thing. So
Mhm.
it just depends on what you want to do as to what gear you're going to use. Now everybody's got a camera on their phone, so, and they're pretty good these days. So it's a great way to get started.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I myself, I have a cell phone now holding the webcam up so I could get the level good,
Yep.
but including that one, I have
And you just use those
I
just for the
have
cameras in them.
look, yeah, that obviously with the Apple phone, that is the latest Apple, so it records freaking amazing, good quality. But the rest is basically uh,
So, well, I mean, you look at
you're
this. This is the latest Samsung, and the
look at
you,
that,
you can
look at
see
that.
you can see the camera there, and ooh,
Mhm.
that's like it started Doctor Who that. But they are. I mean, these new ones, the iPhones and the Samsungs, they record in 4K, so you can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
some really good
Um,
sharp photos and camera and video all in the one unit. And you can do
yeah.
voice recorders with it, and then obviously you've got all the ghost hunting apps and things like that.
Oh, that's for sure. I actually have one on the iPhone that I would even show you guys, and it's pretty good. But back to the phones. For anyone starting off, you could use your own phone. Again, like how Gary was saying, vertical would be for TikTok, landscape, horizontal would be for YouTube, or even for Rumble. And the reason why I have so many cell phones is because uh, content creating, honestly. Because if you just want to do it for yourself and just want to capture, whatever happens, you don't need a bunch of cameras. But for content creating, and these are 1080p's that, basically, I'll upgrade to 4K cameras once I know that the majority of the world owns a 4K television or device.
I've got one.
Um,
I've got a 4K TV, and this camera that you're watching me on now, this is a 4K Sony ZV-E10. So it's the cheaper version of all the good quality ones, and it's got interchangeable lenses and stuff. Some of them actually have a fixed lens. So again, depending on your dollars, you can spend money on different lenses and things like. I mean, these are just the ones, and obviously the one that's on there. I've got the 13mm running on there at the moment. Again, you can what we're recording with now. I mean, this is 1080 that you're seeing, even though it's capable of recording in 4K. But you get a lot better processing, so you get a better image of one of these. But you work your way up to it. I mean, it's taken me a long time to work up to that, even though technically that there is a third of what this cost me. This thing when I bought it, I had to save up for a long time, and I started out actually buying secondhand stuff out of the classifieds and things like that. I mean, the first night vision camera I had, you used to put the cassettes in and record with one of them, and the night vision was really shit. But they are getting better. I mean, I don't think they do them anymore, but that's why I'm holding on to that thing. That thing's as rare as hen's teeth now, because I'm not going to say a word, because as soon as I say anything, it's going to die in the bum. But when I have to replace that, I'm probably going to do one of those, get a GoPro that's been retrofit, so I can still record some night vision stuff. And the good thing about a GoPro is as well, you can mount it to your chest or up on your shoulder or up on your head if you want to look like a Teletubby, and just go from there. Actually, you might look like a knob, but you get some good sort of footage when you do that.
Yes, yes. I actually have an idea that I want to be implementing on specifically YouTube videos. Basically, what I'm planning to do is a first person view of a paranormal investigations.
Brilliant.
So, almost like, the premise of it is, as far as, for gamers, when you play first person shooter games. So that's the kind of aspect I kind of want to put in.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I've
it'll be
actually
a little bit more
I've actually done
more.
some of that, but I like to do a wider scope kind of shot. So
Yeah,
I use that in very limited circumstances, that kind of thing, just to give you an idea of what it looks like from where you're at. Because I actually, on this mount here, this C mount that I've got, you can see where you got the hot shoe mounts and everything. I actually would run a GoPro on the top of this facing backwards, because one of the things I've discovered, and again, we were talking about it earlier, is with me doing all the filming and everything, I'm never in the bloody photos. I'm never in the videos. So put your GoPro on there facing backwards, so you're always in it when you're getting everybody else. So it's not a bad idea, and it works.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you get one of those setups, because I don't need to use both of those illuminators at once. I only use one, and then when the battery dies, I flick straight to the other one. So I've got twice as long, and I've got like a 5-hour battery in that thing as well. So again, it just comes down to how much you want to spend on stuff and keep going with it. But with that, you just flick one of the illuminators backwards, because it's just those little red lights that you can barely see. And then if you've got one of those GoPros which has been retrofit for infrared, you're in night vision, and then you're recording what's in night vision. I've actually got a mount for a selfie stick, so I can mount 2 cameras on it, and I mount one forward and one backwards when I go snorkeling. So I can get myself in it, and then I can get what I'm looking at. And obviously, my 360 camera I can take as well, but the resolution on that's not quite as good underwater, so I don't want to ruin that one yet. So anyway, what's your next piece?
Well, as far as paranormal investigation is concerned, that's pretty much all you need. Obviously, you have all of these cool new tech that is out there, like how we spoke earlier. There's the Boo Bear, there's the Tripwire, there's the Dead Bell, there's a music box, there is all of these. All of that is good, for content.
Mm.
Um, But for people starting off, that's basically, oh yeah, that's actually one that you really need. Also, thermal
Mm.
camera.
No,
That's
that's not a thermal imaging camera. That's just a thermometer. You just,
a thermometer. Okay.
I don't even know if you can see the laser on there. You just point it
Yeah,
at
yeah.
something, and wherever the dot is, you get a surface temperature on it. Because if somebody says that they're feeling really cold on one side, you need to be able to measure it and document it. So with this, you just,
Mhm.
you can't
Yes.
see because I haven't got it focused in, but I'm actually quite hot. Oh,
Oh.
there we go. And and a couple of other things that I've had from ages ago, which I'm one of these suckers that if I see something new on a lot of these TV shows, I'm not so much now, but back then when you see something new, you would go, oh man, I've got to have that. So everybody who watches the shows will recognize the SM7B, which is one of the original spirit box type things. And then this is one of the versions of the old Ovulus. So this is the PX, which Bill Chappell makes, which again, when you turn it on,
Yeah.
you get all the different. You got all of that. Now this thing, when that thing goes off, because it doesn't go off very often, you've definitely got something hanging around when that goes off. Now you do get a lot of gibberish in the dictionary mode, but you can go into phonetic mode where it says all the different sounds like the and you can actually get
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
when it starts saying words if you get really strong. So I'll keep it in dictionary mode, and then once it starts going off, I'll flick it into phonetic mode, and we've actually had some stuff come through in phonetic mode, which is good stuff,
Yeah.
I think that's it. Now obviously when I bought these things, they were cheap as, well, not cheap as chips, but they were cheap. But because they don't get made all the time now, last time I actually looked at an SM7B, SM7B, that's my microphone, PSB7, I paid about $60 for this. Now you're looking at $300 plus for one of these because they've been on all the TV shows. Everybody has to have one, so the demand's gone up.
Every,
So
yeah.
you
Well,
don't need one. They're fun things to have. So yeah, I think because we're about to go, but I think you need to work out what kind of paranormal investigation you want to do, what you're into it for. If you haven't got a lot of money, like I said, you can start off with your phone and an app, and then get. Obviously, one thing that we've both forgotten to add is make sure you've got a torch. You need.
oh, man,
You
I
need
got. I have it all set up over here. All set up over here. All set up. These are all torches or flashlights.
oh, they're little puppies.
Actually, this flashlight.
Hang on, I'm going to
Um,
disappear for a sec while you're doing that. Hopefully, I'm not going to kill everything on the way.
this flashlight. It's a flashlight. Then we have different lighting,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we have backlight.
Oh yeah. I've got a separate black light. Now you know how you use that army thing, your army
Yeah.
pack. I always lose stuff in that, so I've got this. I don't know what you call them, whether you call them a fanny pack or whatever, but it's one of those things. It just straps on on the side of your on the side. Well, you can strap it wherever you really want, really, but I'll put it on the side of my hip, a bit like a gun holster kind of thing. And I keep some
Yeah.
of my gear in, but there's my torch.
Now there you go. There you go.
So let's see how.
Uh,
Are you ready for this?
I
Oh, that's it. The batteries are just about dead. But
that looks like it could light up a whole field.
it's yeah.
So the good thing about this specific flashlight, as you can see, it has a clip. So I usually have it so I could use the front.
Yep, that's a good.
And
That's
then
a
this
good one.
even red.
And they're good in the red because if you're in a dark situation, it's not going to make your eyes adjust too much. So
Yes, exactly. And then with the clip, I either have it on my belt or on one of those pockets on the vest.
yeah.
Have it, so I can have a free hand to do
Hmm.
whatever needs to be done.
No, we won't go further with that. I've actually got another torch as well, which is actually it's got three lenses on it. So you got the main lens, and then it's got two side lenses, and they're on swivels, so you can do the same thing. You can adjust them, so you can sort of stick it in your pocket and have them two pointing forward, so you can see what you're doing and stuff. But yeah, I think anybody starting out, and again with the phone, every phone's got that little bloody LED light on it that'll get you away in a pinch. So
Yeah,
I guess number one to start off with is get yourself a phone that you're going to use.
yeah. And pretty much everyone has a phone nowadays that has the
Yeah,
capabilities.
yeah.
That's
So
for
you
sure.
can all go out and do it.
Oh, I aside from we also have a chest mount.
Yep.
I strap it on just so there. And
He
as
likes
far as a
strapping
tool is
things on.
concerned, we we have a laser grid.
Yep.
These are small laser grids. You can set it up. So let me see if you guys could. There you go.
Yep.
So laser grids, I mean, again, like how you stated earlier, a lot of this stuff you get along the way, depending on what kind of investigation you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah. Oh, batteries, a way to charge.
Yes, batteries is the one thing that we all hate because if you get a good active location, they die like crazy. So,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So definitely you need things to charge all of your stuff aside from, you know, and the thing is that a lot of the locations that I've been to, like they don't have working electricity. So definitely a power block. I have like 3, possibly 4. You need absolutely cables for all of your devices, everything you need. Uh Also, yeah, talking about tripods, and I have like a bunch of different of these, so you could set them up all over the place.
yep.
But the newest device that I added to my arsenal, I wouldn't say it was meant for paranormal investigation, but there is this location that I've mentioned that I've been to a couple of times, Kings Park Psychiatric Center. So, due to that, you cannot really get into a lot of these structures. But a lot of the structures from the second floor going up, they're pretty much, open windows, they're broken, so you could look inside. So I got myself a drone just to do that.
Yeah, I've got my drone down there as well.
So this actually it does what I needed to do. This I got it from Temu.
Yep.
Temu, right? Temu. This was pretty cheap, and I call it a disposable drone just because
You don't want to put a DJI up there, which is what I've got. So,
So a disposable drone because at locations you never know what's gonna happen. I've actually trying to get some footage of this tower that I was very curious about. I had it at a perfect steady view to get what I want, and no wind. It wasn't
mm,
windy. There was nothing going on. Nothing didn't fly into it, and all of a sudden this thing, like if something just whacked it out of the air.
yeah, yeah.
So
We
this
we
thing actually,
yeah we did a location, and Jeremy, oh, he loved this place, and we were around this church, and we were at the part where the bell was, and the bell rope was hanging down, and it was bloody swinging and slamming, and it was reacting to what everybody was saying and asking. So it was definitely something going on. But I thought, well, I want to go outside and I want to get some footage of it from the outside just to see that it's not wind or anything like that. So I went out and put my drone up, and no wind, and I actually did an orbit all the way around the little spire where the church, where the bell was, and the bell was stone still, and the rope going down. There was no movement. I mean, I know any movement would be exacerbated at the bottom, but there was nothing. It was just dead still. But at the bottom, it was going bloody nuts. So that was interesting. So we knew it wasn't anything on the top affecting it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to go. But, yeah, so your first three things that you would have for anybody starting out in the paranormal.
Well, the most important would be a voice recorder, uh, EMF detector, and something to capture video and photos, a camera.
Yep.
Whether
That,
it be even on your cell phone camera is perfectly fine. So,
well, they would be the first three.
photos,
Yeah.
video.
They would be the first three devices that I would suggest. But the first thing that anybody needs is an interest in it and just getting out there. So yourself, that's number one.
Oh,
But
that's the number one tool.
equip well, and if anything that we're looking for in the paranormal, like EMF, you've got your cameras and this, that, and the other. You got your thermometers. They're all picking up things that your body can actually pick up. I mean, obviously you can't see in the dark, but you can see things, and they get written off as a personal experience, but your body, you pick up, you get the goosebumps, or your hairs will stand on end and things like that. That's your body reacting to electromagnetic fields. So that's doing the same sort of thing as an EMF meter.
Or a chill in the air.
You get the chill. That's the same thing that your thermometer will pick up. You can hear things. That's what your voice recorder is. I mean, obviously the voice recorder has a much wider range than what the human ear can pick up. And then the camera obviously can pick up more than what the human eye can. But your body is the first one to start out. But obviously beyond that, camera, EMF meter, and a voice recorder are the first three things that you need to look at. And in all honesty, all three of them you can get in your phone. So yourself and your phone is all you need to get started in the ghost hunting stuff. So yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say earlier, there's a big difference between paranormal investigation and you trying to get content, because really having all these cameras and everything else. I forgot to mention I have a body cam also.
Mm-hmm.
This, I actually have it on my book bag. So I have a camera looking forward. This actually records what's going on behind me, because a lot of times,
Yep.
I don't know why, but to me it feels like an entity, knows something, and they're basically trying to dodge the cameras.
Yep.
So it kind of makes me wonder, because I've actually questioned this. All of these devices that you have on your hand, obviously, there are entities that has been, gone for a very long time. Would you think that the reason why they're dodging all of this stuff is because there is a moral code within the spirit realm, or do you think that they possibly might think that this is a weapon that we're using?
That is a question for a different show completely, because I have a very long answer to that, and it's not really an answer, but I have a very long explanation, and it's too long to go considering we're already 10 minutes over. But yes, that we will get into in a different one, but I agree with you that it always happens just when you've turned all the gear off, or it happens behind you when you're not looking. So if you can cover those bases as well, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to pick up that paranormal activity.
Yes.
On that, I think it's time for us to go. So thank you very much, Fernando, and
Of course.
we will see you all next time.